our team, our community. This is CondorsTown, and this is another Energy Condors connection. Now, here's Erik Fox and Ryan Holt.
Tuesday at 10 a.m. You know what time it is. It's hockey time here on the socials as we once again have Condors Connection. My name is Erik Fox from Alpha Media and Energy 95.3, joined on the other side of the split screen here by my brother from another mother, and that is the one and only Ryan Holt from your Bakersfield Condors. How you doing this morning, my friend?
I'm good. We're playing our second game in 4 days, so we've played more in the last 72 hours than we have all season, so it's all systems go here.
So how's it been feeling so far? I mean, we'll talk a little deeper, but how's the vibe? You know, it's that off season can get some cobwebs out there. Are you feeling the cobwebs finally coming off for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's good to get the season going. It's good to play games. You kind of get in that rhythm. In the first 2 weeks, we really didn't have much in terms of games. So,
right.
This week to have 3 games and then start to, get a couple of road trips under our belt here will be good. And then, everything kind of picks up end of November into December. And that's when, the heavy lifting starts. So good to get a couple out of the way here and start feeling our way in. And then obviously from a team perspective to, start playing games and start, building that chemistry for the team is important.
Let's go now. We'll talk more, obviously, about the Condors and CondorsTown in just a moment, but we always talk about the parent organization first because, a good amount of the players are going to see here in B-Town. You're going to see in Edmonton. So let's talk about the Oilers. Let's be blunt. Not quite the start we've expected from them so far.
Yeah, the sky's falling. We should probably all jump off the ship.
They're still doing better than another team, but we'll leave that one alone.
Hey, 31 other teams are going to be better than another team. I'm just letting you know now. You just set yourself up. If you finish 30th, you've had a good year. But yeah, it's been.
Might actually win the lottery. Who knows?
Been a little bit of a slow
let's
start.
talk about Edmonton. 1-3-1 is their current record over 5 games. What are you seeing out there? I mean, it's the differential is only -7, so I mean, it's not like they've been just blown out constantly. I mean, what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, I think you're going to have a 1-3-1 spell throughout the course of the season, and it just gets magnified because it's the first 5 games of the season. So I think for Edmonton, obviously McDavid's a little banged up here for a couple days, and he'll miss some time here for a little bit, but it gives other guys an opportunity that maybe they otherwise wouldn't have had had McDavid been in the lineup for 22 minutes a night. So that's an opportunity. They got a big week this week. They got Minnesota tonight. They've struggled out of the gate. They get the Flames later this week outdoors on Sunday. We're hosting a watch party here for that, so that'll be fun. And I think early on, you kind of want to, as you said, you don't want to end up on either side of the pendulum here. Where you're too good or you're too bad. I always kind of feel like if you just get off to a decent start, that's probably the best case scenario, and then kind of fly under the radar. But expectations are high. They should be high. This is a top 4 team in the Western Conference and the entirety of the NHL if you started listing off teams. So yeah, it's a little bit of a slow start, but it's not certainly time for panic. I don't think.
Right.
It starts dipping that way, maybe, but I don't think it will. It's just going to take a little bit to get their feet back under them. And you got to remember too, it's back-to-back long runs. Kind of season-wise, there wasn't much off-season stuff. So, it's a grind, and it's tough to get into that mentality, and you see it a lot of times with teams that go to finals, year after year, and why it's so hard to replicate is because you're playing with such urgency for months and months at the end of a year. And then all of a sudden you're back to game 1 and you're like, all right, we got 82 of these things. Like, let's get through them. But it's tough to, keep that foot on the gas pedal as the Oilers are finding out.
What are we seeing? I mean, you mentioned McDavid has some injury issues, but we also are we going to see more Big O players up there?
Nothing in terms of call-ups. Again, we kind of talked about the salary cap situation in Edmonton. They didn't put McDavid on IR. The only way you get relief is if you put McDavid on IR, and they didn't, which is a good thing because it means he's likely back within a week.
Gotcha.
But the negative side of it is they can't call anybody up. They don't have any room to call somebody up right now with McDavid still on the roster. So, it's beneficial for us here in Bakersfield. It leaves the Oilers a man short, but they can jerry rig some things here over the next week and a half, I think, but they'll figure it out.
Let's go and talk about, of course, we want to talk about the local team, so let's get back into it. Not a season preview, so I'll take that off the screen. So obviously, we've only had 2 games so far, but what have you seen so far as we've like really jumped into the season so far?
Yeah, I think a little rust on Saturday. Nothing really seemed crisp from the drop of the puck. I think the team got better as the game went on. But again, you're chasing, a 3-1 game in the third period. You're going to win about, 15, 20% of those games, if that, over the course of a year. So, you give that situation 5 times, you probably win one of them over the course of a season. And, that wasn't the one on Saturday. Team had a nice push late, able to score a goal late, 6-on-5, but, again, just ran out of time. But you can't spot a team 2 goals into the third period and expect to win with any regularity. Ontario, I thought, played a pretty good game. I think they were a little bit better than I thought they were going to be. I don't think the Condors were as crisp as, say, last Friday in Coachella Valley, nor as crisp as they will be tonight against Henderson.
So let's talk about that. You're talking about the Christmas and like getting back together. Coaching staff, what are they kind of looking for as we get into the next few games here?
Well, I think you just want a sample size, right? Like you want to be able to see what your team is, and over the course of a year, the coaching staff will break things down in 5-game segments, in 10-game segments, and kind of look at the the recaps, I guess, after that, kind of inventory of games, if you will. And we've only had 6 periods of hockey so far, and we're 15 days into the season, so
right.
So it's I think a little regularity of games here, and you get that with the game tonight, 2 on the weekend. Get back in a little bit of a rhythm, get some guys back going, and figure out what you have first before you can actually make some tweaks and things like that. So certainly not. I don't think you can draw any conclusions from anything over the first 2 games. What we've seen is Henderson's 4-0, so that's a little nugget out there going into tonight's action to try and end that streak and put yourself in a good spot here going into the weekend.
Let's talk about the game tonight. Henderson, who through the whole COVID stuff, we saw a lot of. Yeah. So, do you feel like we have their number, or what are you feeling as we get into the game tonight?
Well, we have over the course of since 2021, since they joined the league. I think we're 17-8. I think in 25 games against them, and I think it's 9-4 here in Bakersfield. And if you look at historical numbers, that would tend to favor the Condors. But this is a good Henderson team. This was a team that missed the playoffs last year, but of the teams that missed the playoffs last year, they're the only ones that I have, kind of moving into a playoff spot this year. So that means someone's going to come out. They've started 4-0. They added Adam Cracknell, who, obviously was a big part of 2 division titles for this Condors team. They added Tyler Benson, who, one of the top scorers for the Condors the last 5 years. So
wrong sweater for them. Come on now, guys.
Yeah. So they've added some key pieces, and, some guys who needed maybe some, different, environments, different eyes on them, a little bit of a fresh start.
Right.
So we'll see them tonight. And, they have some draft picks that they've brought in that, have, started off their careers well. I think Yuri Patera is their goaltender, who has been pretty good. Played some NHL time last year, and this is a good Henderson team. I don't know if they'll be up at the top, but I think this is a very good Henderson team. They got a new coaching staff. They wanted to make some changes from last year, and they're ready to go.
We're going to see a lot of road trips coming up, especially north of the border as we head into early November or mid-November. So let's talk about the first road trip, which is going to be going to Tucson. What are you looking for this weekend?
Yeah, Tucson, they play this morning. They're actually playing in about 20 minutes against San Diego, so we can check them out here this morning. But Tucson, again, a team that's kind of, wallowed a little bit the last couple of years. They didn't really have too many big additions this offseason. They lost over the weekend. They were shut out at home by Coachella Valley. So early returns on them, I think, is a mixed bag. I think that's a team that could, find themselves in the bottom 3. Again, at least how I have things projected, and I've been wrong before, but they have Dylan Gunther, who played for the Edmonton Oil Kings, which is the Oilers junior team up in Edmonton. Gunther's a first round pick. He's going to be highly touted. And Arizona is in a different spot than just about everyone else in the division, similar to San Diego, I guess, if you will, where their parent club has been wallowing here for the last couple of years, and as a result, they've stockpiled draft picks. So they're kind of the flip of like a Bakersfield or a Ontario or even a Henderson here, where those teams are in win now mode at the NHL level, which has made their AHL clubs a little bit older. Tucson's the opposite. They're definitely younger leaning just because of all the draft picks, but I'm not high on their goaltending. I think they're going to give up too many goals this year, and we'll see where they end up at the end of the ledger. But I think they're definitely kind of one of those teams that's battling to get out of the bottom three.
Understood. And of course, we got to talk about the gastro fund that you have every time you hit the road. Anything you're looking for in Tucson food wise?
There's plenty. I have no shortage of options. One of our favorite spots there is this place called Daisy Mays. It's kind of off the beaten path. It's not near where we stay. You wouldn't know about it unless you're a veteran of the road trip. But great steakhouse there. Just like an old school, like you smell like smoke when you walk out of it type of steakhouse. Not cigarette smoke, but
No, I get you. I get
charcoal. So just a great old school kind of steakhouse there. And then the post game one tradition in Tucson is always hitting No Anchovies, which is kind of right across the street from our hotel. It's kind of a late night single slice pizza spot. And the best part about Tucson is everything's like $1.50 because it's college town. So
yep.
But you have to drink out of like plastic cups and stuff, and it's warm draft beer and stuff.
Well, you do that in the booth anyways, but we don't talk about that. Exactly. Right, Holt for the Bakersfield Condors. Let's talk about tonight. Obviously, Henderson's in town, so people want to go check that game out because, of course, we should. What do people need to do?
Yeah, it's one of our many weekday promotions that we'll have this year, which is Taco Tuesday. So $2 street tacos all night. We've also got $7 margarita special. I think they're normally like $18 or $20. So pretty good deals tonight, Tuesday. We'll also have Wing and Craft Beer Wednesday as kind of our two midweek promotions, that'll run throughout the year. So
nice.
$2 tacos tonight and 6:30 puck drop. You'll be back back home by 9:00. What's better than that on a Tuesday? And again, just one home game this week. We got the one Saturday next week, and then basically it's teddy bear toss. So it's pretty crazy how we don't have much in terms of the home slate here early on, but just makes each game that more important and reason to come out.
It also means later in the season more Condors hockey here in CondorsTown. I love that part too.
Exactly what we want.
Love that. Ryan Holt for the Bakersfield Condors. My name is Erik Fox from Alpha Media and Energy 95.3. And, of course, every Tuesday, 10 a.m., we will connect up here and see all the things that are happening here in CondorsTown. And we will catch you next week right here with Energy 95.3 and your Bakersfield Condors.